As she approached the wall hall to peek, she was horrified to find several pigs torn apart in the pen, like a horror movie. Someone nearby seemed struggling in the air, like a neglected pizza at a party. Faced with the horror, Fenji rushed to the temple unaware. On her way back, she had no idea the monk's body was tossed in the vegetable patch. Once she returned, she woke up Huiling, and the two raced to the place where the coffin. They found the horse manure and rice unharmed, but the coffin lid was severely damaged, and chains lay scattered like New Year firecrackers. Then Huiling looked up. They saw a big hole in the warehouse ceiling, as if something burst from the coffin and flew off, perhaps a pranking superhero. She sensed the gravity, urged Fenji to wake others, while Huiling approached light country, drawing something out. On closer inspection, it was a samurai helmet. Before Huiling could figure out what was happening, a thunderous clatter of footsteps rang from the doorway, startling her into. She found a giant in medieval Japanese armor standing in front of her, who bluntly asked her a question. When Huiling snapped back to reality, she quickly knelt down, falsely claiming to be his subordinate. The giant then asked her if she was ready with silverfish and cantaloupe. Although Huiling didn't understand what that meant, she still expressed her thoughts in a trembling. A spark of enthusiasm ignited in her heart, only to cool off instantly. Huiling still stammered that she would prepare it soon, feeling like she was cramming for a test. To her surprise, the giant didn't respond at all. When Huiling looked up, she heard him murmur something, realizing she had blown her cover. Without hesitation, Huiling fled, with the giant's footsteps closing in. Fenji arrived just in time, blocking her with an iron rod. When Huiling turned around, she was confronted by the towering giant. Fenji shouted for her to run, but unexpectedly, the next second, with a look of terror on her face, the giant's hand pierced directly into Fenji's abdomen, as if cutting a cake. Fenji instantly lost consciousness, and when she was thrown to the ground, the monster was to attack Huiling when a distant rooster crowed, like an alarm. As the rooster crowed, the monster clasped its hands together, chanting a strange incantation, and then it was surrounded by a sudden burst of flames. By the time Lake Yui and Rongjin arrived, the creature had turned into a massive ghostly flame shooting up into the sky, only to vanish shortly afterward, like a splendid firework in the night. Huiling rushed over to check on Fenji's injuries and quickly transported her to the hospital. The emergency treatment made the news headlines and nearly turned into an internet. Ironically, the authorities blamed all of this on a wild bear from the mountains, which was quite laughable. While waiting for Fenji's surgery, Huiling told Lake Yui that what they encountered wasn't a ghost or spirit, but an elf. Lake Yui was baffled, so Huiling went on to explain. An elf is the soul of an animal or human attached to some object, which sounded a bit like the paranormal events in modern society. Given the stringent conditions for their existence, Lake Yui soon learned about some secrets. Not long after, Fenji finally stabilized, slipping out of danger, but she remained in a deep slumber, much like sleeping. Huiling called her sister and niece for backup, while Lake Yui dug into the secret of matters based on the information Huiling provided. Back in colonial times, Japan schemed to ruin the Korean peninsula's prospects, like a TV drama plot. They enlisted Feng Shui masters to bury iron bricks at the heart of the country, and some Iron Blood League members got wind of it and sprang into action. Lake Yui found an iron shovel used by the Iron Blood League in the temple, inscribed with strange writing. He deduced that Jeong's ancestral grave was likely where the iron bricks were buried, and he was spooked. To confirm his hunch, Lake Yui ventured back to the graveyard alone, thinking, if I can dig up those bricks, it'd be a monumental achievement. He soon found himself spooked by a ghost while digging, nearly losing his life like a horror game. Fortunately, the monster which flew away last night had, without anyone knowing when, returned here, and Lake Yui just managed to go unnoticed. Meanwhile, in the hospital, Fenji suddenly opened her eyes and called for her master. Huiling asked who her master was, and Fenji coldly replied, "When Lake Yui comes back." At that moment, Lake Yui shared his findings with everyone, mentioning the secret of the iron bricks, but Rongjin was clearly shaken. He didn't want to provoke any more of those elf monsters. Lake Yui insisted they weren't doing this for their sake, but for future generations. If they don't act horrendous, maybe pulling the bricks could save Fenji. After Laek's sharp persuasion, Huiling and Rongjin agreed. Then, Huiling seemed to have a realization. She speculated that the monster was guarding the pit to protect the iron bricks, like guarding its own treasure. Though she can't eliminate the monster, they can lure it away and remove the iron bricks like mahjong needing teamwork. Soon after, when medical staff came to change Fenji's bandages, Huiling noticed the monster avoided his magical patterns like an allergic creature. In other words, If monsters dislike magical patterns, they can use it to plan. After everything was ready, the three used brushes to write magical patterns all over themselves, practically becoming a living artwork. Dueling instructed her sister Anise to keep an eye on Fendi while they got to the graveyard early to prepare for the night's challenge. They planned to use silverfish and cantaloupe to lure the monster, and had a big bucket of horse blood ready just in case. As long as Lei Qi and Wangjin found the iron bricks and cleaned them with horse blood during this time, their plan would succeed. As night fell, the prepared group waited for the monster to bite, as captivating as an old farmer fishing. Under the lure of silverfish, not long after, a large hand emerged from the soil, and things started to get. Meanwhile, in the ward, Fenji suddenly reacted, as if defecating, moving her mouth non-stop as if chewing. At that moment, the monster emerged from the pit after eating a silverfish. Seeing it vanish made hearts race. Without a word, Lei Qi and Wangjin dashed towards the pit to search for the iron bricks, but to their surprise, the monster suddenly stopped after munching on several silverfish. If you enjoy our story, please subscribe for more thrilling and humorous adventures waiting for you.